Quotes from Henri Frédéric Amiel. From the Kindle, Deep Christian Quotes and Bible Verses. First quote. The test of every religious, political, or educational system, is the man which it forms. If a system injures the intelligence it is bad. If it injures the character it is vicious. If it injures the conscience it is criminal. Second quote. At the bottom of the modern man there is always a great thirst for self-forgetfulness, self-distraction, and therefore he turns away from all those problems and abysses, which might recall to him his own nothingness. Third quote. To understand is to possess the thing understood, first by sympathy and then by intelligence. Fourth quote. The growth and development of the soul is more important than power and glory. Fifth quote. A man only understands what is akin to something already existing in himself. Sixth quote. When everything has its proper place in our minds, we are able to stand in equilibrium with the rest of the world. Seventh quote. What we call little things are merely the causes of great things, they are the beginning, the embryo, and it is the point of departure, which generally speaking, decides the whole future of an existence. One single black speck may be the beginning of gangrene, of a storm, of a revolution. Eighth quote. Nothing resembles pride so much as discouragement. Ninth quote. When everything is in its right place within us, we ourselves are in balance with the whole work of God. Tenth quote. Time wasted is a theft from God. Obstinacy is will asserting itself, without being able to justify itself. It is persistence, without a reasonable motive. It is the tenacity of self-love, substituted for that of reason and conscience. 12th quote. Sympathy is the first condition of criticism. 13th quote. If ignorance and passion are the foes of popular morality, it must be confessed that moral indifference is the malady of the cultivated classes. 14th quote. Melancholy is at the bottom of everything, just as at the end of all rivers is the sea. Can it be otherwise in a world where nothing lasts, where all that we have loved, or shall love must die? Is death then the secret of life? The gloom of an eternal morning enwraps, more or less closely, every serious and thoughtful soul, as night enwraps the universe. 15th quote. In order to see Christianity, one must forget all the Christians. 16th quote. He who floats with the current, who does not guide himself according to higher principles, who has no ideal, no conviction, such a man is a thing moved, instead of a living and moving being, an echo, not a voice. The man who has no inner life is a slave of his surroundings, as the barometer is the obedient servant of the air. 17th quote. Are we not all shipwrecked, condemned to death? However impatient our neighbors make us, however much indignation our race arouses, we are all bound together, and the companions of a chain gang have everything to lose by mutual insults. 18th quote. There is only one way of not hating those who do us wrong, and that is by doing them good. 19th quote. Righteous ends, thus approved, absolve of guilt the most violent means. 20th quote. Life is an apprenticeship to the constant renunciations, to the steady failure of our claims, our hopes, our powers, our liberty. 20th one quote. To learn new habits is everything, for it is to reach the substance of life. Life is but a tissue of habits. 22nd quote. Destiny has two ways of crushing us, by refusing our wishes and by fulfilling them. 23rd quote. He who is silent is forgotten. He who does not advance falls back. He who stops is overwhelmed, outdistanced, crushed. He who ceases to grow becomes smaller. He who leaves off, gives up. The condition of standing still is the beginning of the end. Thanks.